Welcome back, guys. It's Colin with the Sun Pirates TCG, and we are back doing sim content for One Piece. So now that the ban list is out and OP-12 is out and about, we pretty much have a new format. So first, we're taking a crack at Vegapunk, as I like to call it VEGA-BONK, because it's a very aggressively slanted version of Vegapunk. I mean, honestly, all of them have been over the past few months. But yeah, this list is very similar to, as you'll realize, the second place list from one of the European regionals over the past week. It's pretty much four of every good egghead card that you can think of. You know, you got the Searchers and Liliths, 2Ks and Edison and Frankie, the 5-drop Vegapunk from EB02, since he can grab any scientist. This card's really, really strong. It's kind of like a Rebecca for the archetype. Atlas is actually particularly good this format too, because the fact that it cannot be KO'd in battle means it's very awkward for 5 health leaders to deal with, like Rayleigh and Zoro. Zoro especially, since, you know, all of their removals combat based. Shaka's a staple, it's just a blocker. Pythagoras is pretty good. It can revive your Lilith, your 2Ks. And I haven't talked about it yet, but we're also playing the 3-drop Bonnie. This card's actually pretty sweet in the deck too, because it puts our opponent in it kind of like a lose-lose situation when we're going wide and trying to punch them out, where we get rewarded by doing damage, drawing more cards, or if they're trying to guard aggressively to prevent us from drawing cards, we're also in a good spot, because then we're putting our opponent down to like a low resource game. And then as far as the other like non-scientist 5-drops, we have, of course, Rocket Luffy. Only 3 of them, because there's not as many great targets for him to be blowing up nowadays, but we also have 4 of the 5-drop Nami, since being able to kill a 5 cost specifically is much more relevant. And then as far as like non-characters go, we have 4 Rayquaza, 4 Dareshi, of course, to gas up. We have a couple copies of the Egghead stage. This thing is sweet in the list, since you get to restand your guys, especially if you've been only attacking with like 1 character per turn, or like 1 character plus 1 Atlas per turn, so they can't really swing back at your board, and they're forced to go at your face. But of course, we're Vegapunk, so you know the vast majority of our deck is trigger body, so if they hit our face, we get another body, and then we just keep swinging at them, right? And then last but not least, for the tech slot, so the other list that topped in Europe was playing Captain Kidd in this slot. I kind of liked it when I was trying it, but I wasn't like fully meshing with it, so I was like looking through the yellow card pool, and I wanted to try this, which is the 1-drop Room counter event. So it's a plus 3k to leader or character, which is pretty cool. You do have to have 1 or less life, but obviously we're playing Vegapunk, so that's pretty easy to have that set up. So the idea behind this is when your opponent is trying to fight over board, you can use Room to restand one of your bodies, so you know they can't just keep swinging into it, because the way Vegapunk kind of loses is by, you know, having your cards hemorrhaged out because they keep swinging into your board, and once your opponent gets to the late game, they start taking like efficient trades with bigger bodies, right? So with Room being able to restand something, you can even restand like a Shaka after you blocked with it, or like if a Zoro leader swings 8k into one of your 6k bodies, you can Room, pump it up back up to a 9k body, and then restand it, and then now like their characters cannot swing into your board either. So there's some really cool applications with this that I just wanted to try out. But yeah, that's the list. Remember, before we get into the gameplay, to make sure you like and subscribe, as we are very, very close to 1,000 subscribers if we haven't hit there already. Again, thank you guys so much for watching and all your support. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so we're going first into a Rayleigh, and honestly our hand's not half bad. We can start off by deploying Atlas, our old reliable for the deck. It's basically our leader. Let's see. So they go Nami and Buggy, sure. Which they found Sanji and Conqueror Hockey. Okay, so starting off with this, I think I want to we'll deploy a Bonnie. Put a Dawn on her, and then we'll swing with Atlas to push in a 7k. And this puts our opponents in a lose-lose, so either they take the hit and we can draw some cards, or they counter out, which I don't think they're going to counter out of a 7 though. Okay, ooh, Room's not a bad one to pick up. I think I pitched the second Atlas. You really don't need more than one, with the exception of certain matchups. So they reveal Conquer and To Never Doubt, sure. They go 5 at lead. I think we can just take this. We'll trigger Dureshi to draw a card. That's not bad. Egghead's not bad. Okay, they reveal the same 2 cards. Then they go in for 6k. We'll give the 2k for that one though. I don't want to go to 0. And then that should be a pass. Yep. Okay. So what we can do now is we can go deploy Rocket Luffy. We'll just get this one out of the way just right off the bat. And then we can put it Dawn on the Bonnie again. Can go like, okay, you have to double check. No, none of these are slashes. Okay, good. We can go 5 at the buggy. So that's probably not worth protecting for the opponent. Yeah. And then we can go 6 at lead, either force a card or make us draw a couple more cards. Which is why I really like Bonnie on the list, because it kind of puts our opponent in that sort of lose-lose situation. Because Rayleigh kind of likes to take his life a bit early to have a bunch of like extra cards to counter with, but here it's like not so good because we get to draw more cards. And then here I think we just put out Egghead, end turn, restand the Bonnie, and then I'm holding up 1 Dawn for either Room or Please Save Me. I mean, realistically, I would use Room first. But yeah, with a 3k counter, we should be fine. I don't think I'm in danger of dying here. Okay, so they do show 2 events. So they go 9 at lead. Then they have a 10k swing following up. I think I just have to take this, unfortunately. Ooh, Vegapunk. We'll say no trigger on that one. Yeah, this one's gonna be a little bit painful, but I think it's what we have to do. So we go 8, 9, choose 0 friendly targets, 9, 10, 11. Yikes, okay. Barely made it out of that one. So here we can go, yeah, Dawn up the Bonnie. No matter what, I have to discard a card, so I might as well see if I can like draw some better cards first. I guess first things first, we should go 5 into 3, trying to make sure the Sanji dies. Okay, then we go 6 at face, see if they guard again. Ooh, and we do draw some cards. Couple Frankies though. I think we have to pitch to Lilith, unfortunately. And then we'll go Vegapunk into Pythagoras. And then we'll have to trash one of our Frankies, since now I'm going to heal in the Rayquaza and turn restand the Bonnie. So our board should be unkillable in combat, and then the Vegapunk can block 1 swing, and then Rayquaza can just like tag back into the Vegapunk, which is nice. But we are definitely on the back foot, but hopefully if we can just like keep finding some Rayquazas and keep looping the Vegapunks over and over again, we should be okay. Okay. So we'll definitely block first. And I need a block first because I know they have the unblockable coming up. Okay, they go 6 at face. Thankfully, we have the 2k to counter that one. And then we have to resolve this attack, trigger. We bring out Vegapunk once more, find another scientist. We'll get, since we have no hand, there's nothing really to cycle into, so we'll get Atlas. Then we don't have to trash anything, thankfully. Okay, we get to do things. So here, we gotta make sure the board dies here. That's for sure. So let's start with a 7 at the Zoro. See what happens here. Thankfully, they've tapped out, so they cannot use the full Conqueror's Haki. Okay, so the Zoro dies here. Then definitely I want to use Atlas to run over the Nami. Then we'll put a Dawn on the Bonnie. We'll swing in 7 with the Pythagoras. Ooh, okay. Draw 2, pitching, I guess a Lilith, right? And then that should have been a 9k. Oops, I miscounted, but they took anyway, so it's fine. And then we can pay 1 for leader ability, at the top life a Lilith, and then we'll just end. Guess we'll resend the Bonnie. Okay, and then we just gotta hope this is enough. So they get Rayleigh into Zoro. They pop our Vegapunk, which is annoying. Ooh, okay. I'll take this first one. Trigger Lilith, finding another Vegapunk. Sweet, sweet. Okay, they go observation hockey. Find a mole gun, sure. And then we just have to room out of it. Okay. Okay, so the $1 million question is, can I continue to stay alive? I know they have a brick in hand with the mole gun, so I know one of their cards is a dead card. So I know, and I also know Rayleigh is mainly a bunch of 2Ks, and thankfully they tapped out so they cannot use Conqueror's Hockey again. So I think I have to go for it because of the mole gun, because they can just like pump up their Nami and then make it a 6K and then mole gun away my blocker. So yeah, I think it's now or never, guys. I think it's now or never. So we'll start with a 7 to test, since we have so many swings to work with. I should have donned up Bonnie first, but it doesn't super matter. I don't think we live regardless. Ooh, they take it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Swing with a Lilith. Got a 1k. We'll swing with Pythagoras. Okay. Swing with Bonnie. Alright, and I guess we'll see. 13 at face. What do you got, opponent? I need at least one of these cards to be bricks. Okay. Which I know the... Oh, and yeah, we knew the mole gun was a brick. That's right, that's right. Oh man, we barely got there. GG, opponent. We clawed back out of that. Okay, so we're getting second versus a Zoro. We don't have the Atlas in our opening hand, but I think I still keep this based on the curve, since we can go like multiple 3-drops from turn 2. So starting off, I'll deploy. Let's bring out Rocket Luffy as a 6k attacker. So we can pretty much swing and pop the very first thing they play, unless they just swing up at us. I think I'll just take this. Ooh, Pythagoras, that's not bad. Okay, nice. So we can go something like... Ooh, okay. How do I want to do this, chat? Alright, I have an idea. I'm going to deploy Bonnie. And then we can go 7 with the Luffy. And then we can go pop Luffy, pop Koshiro. And then 7 with the Pythagoras. So we hit, that lets us draw 2 cards, and then more notably I get to pitch the Lilith. So that way the Pythagoras can tag out into Lilith from my trash. So it looks like they're going to go after the Bonnie anyway, which is fine too. So, yep. 9 at Bonnie. 9 at face, we'll just take this. We still get the Lilith anyway, very nice. And so here, I think I'm gonna get a... This looks weird, but I'm actually gonna go fetch a blocker. Because what we can do now is go... First of all, run over the Kuina. And then we can go 6 at lead. To give it 2k, okay. And then I'm gonna add to top of life a Shaka, and then I'm gonna hard play another Shaka. So the thing about it is that Zoro can only swing at like cost 7 and lower things once per turn. Or he can only restand once per turn as well. So the idea is that like if we just bring out multiple blockers at a time, then he can't actually lethal us. So 9 into the Lilith, we'll just let that go. And then 9 at face, we'll just let that go, and then we'll just bring out the Shaka. Okay. Room's actually a pretty nice pickup here too. I think first things first, I want to pitch the Reshi. Let's get the Cavendish out of the way, just make sure that never happens. And then we can go like 6 at lead. And then I can just like leave my Shaka standing, funny enough. And then we can, at the top of life, another Shaka. And then I think we'll just pass like that. So we have a bunch of dudes on board. They can like place up to Hunter stuff down, but yeah, like that. But that's fine. 9 into 6, we will let it go. And then we can go no blocks, take the hits, trigger Shaka. And then this should be their last swing for turn, so we'll just block with the Shaka. Okay, we're doing stuff, let's do this. We'll go... We really don't have to swing very high. I kind of want to keep my Dawn available. Play the Egghead stage. And then at the top life. I really should be doing this at the end of the turn, but just trying to visualize how much Dawn I have to work with. So we'll see if we can put our opponent to 0. Just a bunch of 7s. We don't want to Dawn up too high, otherwise we accidentally play into Hoodie Jones or Deadman's Game. Okay, and then end phase, we restand the Shaka. And then Rayquaza can revive another Shaka when we need it. And we do have a lot of counter here. We have 3 2Ks and the room. So if they try to do some trick to like rest our stuff, we can actually blow them out with the room. Yeah, okay. I think I have a blowout here. I can go like room plus 2k and restand the Nami. And then the Zoro can never swing at a board again if he activates his restands. And the Tashigi can only swing at the Pythagoras, which Pythagoras can just tag onto another body anyway. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll do no blocks. We room, pump the Nami, and then give an additional... restand her, and then give an additional 2k. And then they go at face, we just go Rayquaza, use the trigger ability, reviving, I guess just the biggest guy we can. We'll revive Shaka, sure, just to be safe. And then Tashigi swings in, but then they tap out, so we go block and 2 2Ks for exactly enough to keep the whole board alive. And now we can go 7 at lead. So we just do a bunch of 7s, yeah. 7 at lead. Yep, and there we have it. Alright, GG. Okay, and now we're going first versus Blue Purple Luffy. So even despite the nerfs, I think this matchup can still be tricky. We'll see. If there's any hand to do it, I think it's this one though. Going first. So we'll start with the Pythagoras. It's not an Atlas, but again, Atlas doesn't super matter in this matchup since they're such a low life total anyway compared to us. So, so we do get to swing for 6 though. So let's see what they counter with. Oh, nothing. Okay, they took the hit, and then we play egghead, so we can restand our Pythagoras. And you know what? Let's just deploy another one, shall we? Okay, Bon Clay. Okay. Swing 7 at her face. Let's see if we get something. Ooh, Frankie. Okay, I'll take it. And I think next we go Lilith to see if we draw anything good. Ooh, Nami's not bad actually. So we can go fetch a Nami. And then let's see. So we go 6. Another 6. So this is pretty much a strategy. I don't know how consistently we can do this as Vegapunk, but this is the general game plan, right? We just have to go as wide as possible as early as this to really put Blue Purple in a tough spot before they start stabilizing with like gravity blades and big boss monsters and things like that. And then we deploy Nami. And then I think I don't really need this. We're gonna pitch Dareshi, blow up their Bon Clay, and then end of turn we can restand the Frankie, I guess. If they try to swing into my Pythagoras, I'm just gonna counter to defend it. Okay, so had another Bon Clay, so they're up to 8 Dawn now. Notably, they're holding 1 up for a counter event, I assume, going 9k at somebody. They're going 9k at my face. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll trigger the Nami. Pitch, blow up your Bon Clay. Sorry about that, bro. Alright. And then, it's just a bunch of 6s. No need to go super tall or anything. We have 5 dudes, so. Sorry, opponent, I'm sorry. Might have did a little bit of sacking there. Granted, I mean, there are a lot of pop triggers in the deck, or there's a decent amount of pop triggers in the deck between the Namis and Luffy, so, you know, it's not like completely, you know, out of the ordinary to have done this, but yeah, it still feels bad. Alright, but yeah, we're just spamming 6s at our opponent until they submit. And then we'll go 9 with Nami. We'll see if this forces Gum Gum Giant, because that would be really funny. Oh, they don't even have it. Oh man. Yeah, we definitely scammed our opponent with that one. Alright, and moving into the wrap-up, honestly this deck was pretty freaking sweet. Now, like I say with a lot of other deck profiles that I do for off-meta leaders, this one, I'm still not convinced that it's like the absolute top of the meta, of course, but I definitely think this archetype has legs, and honestly might be pretty decently positioned in the current meta game. Like, it's pretty straightforward. It's like a nice aggressive strategy that also has like removal tools in the form of like Luffy and Nami, but it's also really resilient, has a lot of survivability with like your Vegapunk blockers, your Shaka blockers, and then just like re-looping them with Rayquazar's trigger ability, right? As far as tech choices go, I think the deck mostly builds itself though. I mean, of course you have to like have a certain amount of scientists for your Vegapunk targets, as well as just, you know, in general having a lot of egghead targets in general for your events, like having a bunch of triggers for Dareshi and just things like that. Now you can play like Captain Kid, like I said in the beginning. I think it's a decent choice, and obviously it worked well for the other person that topped the European regionals, so definitely it's not bad to give that one a try either. A couple other options could be like 5-drop Ace, or maybe even certain removal events if you want to lean in that direction. But yeah, otherwise I think this deck is pretty solid. I would definitely give it another spin at like locals or maybe even regionals. Honestly, I think this deck's pretty good. But anyways, yeah, thanks a lot for watching again, and we'll see you in the next one.